How we doing today, guys? The topic for today's video is so you want a motorcycle. Let's get started. First of all, the best thing about owning a motorcycle is being able to have it running or, hop on it, throw a leg over it, rev it up a little bit, and just take off. So we're going to get that going today. Go over a few other aspects of owning a motorcycle, how to get one. Alrighty. Throwing a leg over the Honda CB450 from 1972. Revs up real good. So to begin with, if you want a motorcycle, you should just go get one. They're all sorts of fun. Special way of transporting yourself from one way to another on two wheels while having fun. You get the added benefit of wind in your face. You get all the smells of nature. Just went past a walnut tree and I can smell the walnuts. It's not as easy getting a motorcycle back in the day as what it is now. Back in the day, you had to know somebody, or you actually had to go to the dealership, find one in a junkyard, and repair it. But today, you can order it online. You can go into the dealership. There's Craigslist, Facebook Marketplace. You obviously want to do your research. If you want a specific kind of bike, you might have to sacrifice some age. You might have to find an older bike. You can go to a dealership and just pick one up for a couple of $1,000, but if you ain't got that kind of money, then you'll have to go the cheaper route. Pick one up from Facebook Marketplace or Craigslist. Again, doing your research so you're not going to be buying a motorcycle that's going to be full of just mechanical bugs and stuff like that. Find something that's, tried and true, has been working for, years. And if you ain't got the mechanical ability, you might have to take it to a shop and have them put it back together. Or find somebody that is versatile in that particular brand. Honda, Kawasaki's, some guys are pretty versatile and moving through all sorts of different ones, but some guys only work on certain things. But when it comes down to it, you need to know if you're going to be able to lift up that machine if it does tip over, if you can balance it right, still do maneuvers, and deal with other things such as shifting and turn signals, which I'm usually not pretty good on. Working the clutch and brake, the throttle, all these things simultaneously when you're going up a hill or, going down a hill. Let's cruise through the marina here. But if you can afford it to go buy a new one, you still want to do your research on, whether that's, a good starter bike, whether there are any mechanical or electrical issues that it's been having, how reliable it is. Those are all things you want to take into consideration when you do purchase a bike. And if you find a bike and you're still not worried about what to do, I mean, if you know how to ride, you knew from when you were younger, or somebody's taught you, or somebody is going to teach you, a friend or something like that, then you're good. But if you don't, then your best bet is to take an MSF course closest to you, or a motorcycle training course. They'll teach you all the basic skills that you need as far as braking, shifting, being able to maneuver the bike at slow speeds. That means a lot. The downside to that is you don't get a lot of, highway training, out in the real world training. Most of those classes take place in a parking lot. Me personally, I knew how to ride one since I was young. A friend of mine showed me how, and that was it. I knew the basic, motions. Throttle adds power, you go. Brake stops you. Started on like a little mini bike. Then I got a little, I think it was a Honda Express. It's just a little moped. And then my dad bought all of us kids a three-wheeler, which we all proceeded to ride and beat the hell out of, me particularly. And eventually it broke, and then I tried fixing it. Being a 12-year-old kid at that time, I didn't have no knowledge or anything on how to fix anything. I just tore it apart to see how it worked. Of course, then Dad couldn't fix it after that, and so I kind of ruined it for everybody else, which sucks. They all give me a hard time about it now, but the one that really gives me a hard time has her own three-wheelers now. When I was riding that three-wheeler, it was actually when I got some real-world experience on a motorcycle. And that was my friend Mikey Greenos. He let me ride his motorcycle. And after that, I think I rode my Grandma Koopman's Kawasaki 250. So I had a little bit of motorcycle experience before this. I had always wanted one. I helped my dad build his Harley. He took me for a couple of rides on it, but I never actually rode it myself. I can't blame him for not trusting me. I was only 12, 13 years old, so. And as I got older, I just didn't think about it as much. Worried about life and everything that's going on. But a friend of my girlfriend's had this bike in her garage, and I asked her about it and offered her $50, and she said, yeah, been in there for quite a while. I also bought the CL77. That bike actually had a locked up motor on it, so it took some work to get that running. But, if you really want to ride, don't let anything hold you back. I mean, it's going to be a little intimidating if you don't know anything about them, but take the MSF course. That's the best way. I mean, they teach you everything that you need to know. There's 5 to 8 hours of classroom work, and then you spend 2 days on the bikes. They teaching you everything, how to balance them, how to maneuver them, how to add speed, deal with obstacles in front of you, how to turn properly, slow speed maneuvers. And because of that, it's a safety course, so I mean, you actually get a discount on your insurance. They teach you all the skills that you really do need, other than, riding out on the highway. But they teach you how to ride the motorcycle. They're usually relatively cheap, inexpensive, and once you take the MSF course, all you have to do is take that endorsement to the DMV and you get your license. You don't even have to take the test at the DMV anymore. I will say that the MSF course is a little bit, little bit more lenient when it comes to their test than the DMV. Our DMV actually has a really tiny course, so it's actually makes it harder because it's got 3 walls around you, so you feel kind of boxed in. But honestly, that's probably one of the biggest mistakes of my life, was not getting a motorcycle sooner. Having worked on it, getting it back to life, getting it roadworthy, registered, and, being able to ride around and do all the park cruises that I do, and all the other things, going to family reunions, and, just going down to see my family or whatever. I can always just hop on the bike and cruise on down. And I know it'll be reliable because I built it, and if it breaks, then I can fix it. Like they say, there's no time like the present. Might as well go get one now. Like I said, I regret it not getting one sooner. That's part of the reason why I taught my boy how to ride a motorcycle, so that way he could, have that enjoyment, that experience, and he can build on that as a hobby or, a way of life. There's a lot of bikers that look at it as a way of life. There is a certain aspect of danger to it, because you don't have this big metal box around you, But I guess that's kind of a trade-off for the thrill you get for, basically riding a motor with wheels. Once you get acclimated to, riding on the street, then, it's no big deal. After I acclimated to riding on the street, I was intimidated about, going up big hills or, riding on the interstate. It took me a little bit, but I got out and I did those things, and, it turned out to not be such a big deal. turned out to be fun, you know, going through a bunch of twisties, going up a hill, hopping on the interstate, you know. I mean, you think because they're doing 75 mile an hour, it's going to be a little worrisome, but you're doing 75 mile an hour too, so it's really not that bad. And I mean, if you got an older style bike that doesn't have the power that you're wanting, you know, you have to find an older sport bike, or you know, an older Harley, whatever your tastes are. But you might have to start out on something that isn't exactly your type to get your, you know, get your two wheels underneath you and get used to it. And you might want to consider buying a used bike because you are a newer rider, so you're going to have those qualms about maybe dropping it or accidentally, you know, tipping it over in the parking lot, you know. So maybe with one that's not so new, you're less worried about that. You can, you know, have a little bit more freedom to get on things and, you know, do things that make you feel more comfortable while you're riding, whether it's speeding up or shifting or, you know, doing all that when you've got oncoming traffic coming at you, having to downshift when the car slows down in front of you. You still have to obey all the, you know, regular laws of the road, rules of the road. But if you're having, you know, anything to do with motorcycles and you really like them, or, you know, you just really think they're cool and you'd like to ride one someday, you should just go get one. As long as you're safe, you probably won't regret it. I wouldn't get anything like too big right off the bat, you know. I feel like anything over a 500 might be too much for you if you're just starting out. If you're old enough and responsible enough, I mean, you might be able to get into like a 650 or something like that, but you're better off just going with something like a 450 or a 500, maybe even like a 250, even a 400, you know. A lot of people start on them. You don't want to end up getting scared by the bike and not, you know, not enjoying the ride. I feel like a 400 is a good place to start. I got lucky and got this 450, and it's an older 450 from the 70s. They're pretty solid, so pretty reliable. You can ring them out pretty good. Some of the newer 400s have more emission regulations to them, so they tend to be a little bit more stuffed up and not have the torque that you want or need, or the power. So people tend to get bigger ones because of that, but if you get too big, then it's going to just scare you off. You're better off starting a little on the low side and working your way up. After about a year and a half on this bad boy, there's not usually too much that gets me going. Gets me too worried. I've gotten pretty comfortable on it, so runs pretty good for an old bike. And I mean, if you're just starting out, you're not going to know the difference. You know, but I mean, if you got the money to just throw at it, then I mean, yeah, go get yourself a, you know, a nice 500 if you're just starting out, you know. The 600 classes might be a little bit too much for you, but I suppose if you're, you know, responsible, a little bit on the older side, you know, you take it easy. A 600 could work for your first bike, but I wouldn't get anything bigger than that. You know, anything more than that, you're just gonna yeet yourself into the freaking next dimension. But to be able to just cruise around town, you know, get used to driving on the street, driving in traffic, dealing with everyday situations and occurrences, you know, that older bike could be better for you. I feel it is. You can learn how to wrench on it. Like I said, there's a lot of videos out there that will help you out. Like with this old Honda, the Common Motor Collective was wonderful. I mean, 100% the best channel for this bike. I show a lot of different, you know, maintenance things to do on this bike, but I got all my information from them. They're the gurus. So if you get like an older, you know, late 60s, mid 70s Honda, you're probably going to be able to find somebody to help you work on it, or at least look online and find what you need, find out the information, whatever needs to be done. And honestly, you know, the only better feeling of hopping on the bike and riding it is knowing that you put it back together. You're the one that got it running again. You're the one that's, you know, give it a second life. I feel like that will add confidence to your riding aspect as well. You'll be able to hear certain things and understand, oh, well, maybe that's coming from the camshafts, or maybe that's coming from the main crank, or, you know, I'm losing power, so maybe my pistons are getting wore down. Maybe I blew a seal. Either way, guys and gals, if you're wanting to get a motorcycle, just go get it. Do your research. Make sure you're not going to buy a lemon. Go check it out. Make sure everything's good. Make sure you're not missing any pieces. If you are, make sure they're not, you know, anything too expensive or too necessary. But you're better off getting an older bike than a newer bike. If you got the money, get the newer bike, and then you can have it serviced, you know. But if you're gonna spend the money, get the warranty, get all that business, so that way you've got a good bike and it's reliable. An older bike, you know, there are reliability issues, but if you do your research enough and you're smart enough to figure out what the guys are telling you and apply that, then you shouldn't have any problem with a vintage motorcycle. I think that's going to be it for the video today. I hope y'all enjoyed. I know I sure enjoyed making it. Beautiful day out here, beautiful ride. And hopefully I, helped you out making a decision. It'd be a shame for you to let, something that you want go by just because you're a little intimidated by it. I hope you all enjoyed again. Hit the like and subscribe button, and have a good day.